Governor Gavin Newsom gives his opinion of PG&E and its public safety power shutoffs. A man was shot and killed overnight in Delano, and the FDA voices concern over the safety of breast implants. This is 17 News at noon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maddie Jansen. As the state and Kern County face more public safety power shutoffs, Governor Gavin Newsom blasted PG&E and other utilities this morning.
It is infuriating beyond words to live in a state as innovative and extraordinarily entrepreneurial and capable as the state of California, to be living in an environment where we are seeing this kind of disruption and these kinds of blackouts. And while I want to chalk it up as someone who believes deeply in that the hots are getting hotter and the dries are getting drier and the wets are getting wetter, that it's just climate change, it's more than just climate change, and it is climate change. But it's more than that. And as it relates to PG&E, it's about dog-eat-dog capitalism meeting climate change. It's about corporate greed meeting climate change. It's about decades of mismanagement. It's about focusing on shareholders and dividends over you and members of the public. It's a story about greed, and they need to be held accountable.
Governor Newsom also said other utilities like SoCal Edison need to be held to account, saying they're not meeting protocols laid out by the state. He indicated new oversight capacity, and a new director at the CPUC will force them to step things up. 308,000 customers in SoCal Edison's jurisdiction, 41,000 in San Diego Gas and Power's jurisdiction, and 178,000 PG&E customers are currently being affected by public safety power shutoffs. Here in Kern County, thousands are without power, mostly in our mountain communities. SoCal Edison has turned off the lights for 5,289 customers in Kern. They're mostly in the Tehachapi, Bear Valley, and Stallion Springs areas. And more than 4,000 customers remain under PSPS consideration. Right now, 33 PG&E Kern County customers are without power as well. And if you're a PG&E customer, you can get alerts about shutoffs sent to your phone. Just text enroll to 97633. If you're a SoCal Edison customer, you can sign up for alerts by going to the Outage Alert Preferences page in your SCE.com profile. You'll need an SCE.com user ID to complete the process. Meantime, 17's Amber Frias has been in our mountain communities these past 2 days where they're facing those shutoffs, and she joins us live from Tehachapi with how it's looking up there for the customers without power. Amber?
Hey, Maddie, we are at Cummings Valley Elementary School's parking lot, and it sure is windy out here. And I don't know if you can tell, but not much activity here as the school is closed for the day due to the shutdowns. We did catch up with some teachers just a few minutes ago and asked them how they feel about the situation.
Well, I mean, no one likes the interruptions. It's tough for a teacher because you're trying to teach a curriculum and you lose another day. But, you know, in Tehachapi, we have snow days. We're not unaccustomed to delays and school closures. So, I mean, we'll handle it and we'll find a way forward.
As you heard, teachers here say that this is not something the Tehachapi area is not used to. They deal with school closures due to weather all the time, and they say this new type of power shutoff is just a precaution they all understand.
If this is what it's going to take for us to not be in a fire, well, I think we can cope with it. I just feel bad for the people who are going through the fires right now. So a day and a half, it's hard, but it's not as bad as the people who are about to lose their homes or who have lost their homes due to the fires.
Now, these teachers we spoke to say that most of the neighborhoods around here are also without power. We will continue to follow the situation and have more reactions from the community out here tonight on your 17 News at 5. But from now, I'm live from Cummings Valley. Amber Frias, 17 News.
All right, thank you, Amber. Of course, the reason for these outages, that high fire danger across the state, and we're seeing wildfires break out to our north and south. The largest one is up in Sonoma County. The Kincade fire erupted overnight, growing to at least 10,000 acres in a matter of hours. There's a news conference happening right now saying it's likely grown larger than that, as crews say they'll update acreage later today. Evacuation orders have been issued for several parts of the county. The fire is 0% contained. Sonoma County fire officials are giving an update on that fire again right now, so we'll keep you updated. Also in Sonoma County, the spring fire. It's very small so far in comparison. Last update put it at 3 acres. The Santa Rosa Fire Department said on Twitter there were no evacuations and fire crews were making good progress. And we're tracking another fire burning, this one in San Bernardino. This is video from overnight. Mandatory evacuations were issued for 83 homes in North San Bernardino. It's being called the Old Water Fire, and it was being driven by those wind gusts overnight at least 50 miles per hour at some points. At last updated, it burned 75 acres and was 0% contained. So what are we looking at fire danger-wise here in Kern County, Kev?
Well, as you can see, the winds were really blowing up in the Tehachapi area, and those are going to continue to increase. Outside our window, you can see a little bit of a haze out there, and we're also expecting a light breeze to pick up as we progress into the afternoon. We sit at 70 degrees right now in Tehachapi with a southeast wind at 21 miles per hour right now. We've seen some stronger gusts than that, and you can see on the wind forecast model right now, we've got stronger winds over the Grapevine, but these winds, again, are starting to pick up out of the Tehachapi area, and this will continue to spread to the north. And you can see out on the west side of town, starting to see a light breeze out that way. Here's a look at the mountain hour by hour, which is very important. We are expecting the 70s throughout the afternoon, and you can see those sustained winds out of the southeast. By 9 o'clock, will be in the upper 50s. We'll touch more on our valley forecast. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Kev. A man was shot and killed overnight in Delano. It happened around 11 p.m. Delano police say officers were dispatched to a shooting in the 700 block of Vassar Street. Officers say they found David Michael Ruiz in his home suffering multiple gunshot wounds. Delano police say he died in a hospital. If you have any information, call Delano police at 721-3377. Turkish forces and their Syrian militias attacked both Kurdish and Syrian government forces today. This despite the ceasefire declared by Turkey, Syria, the Kurds, and the U.S. The Kurdish Syrian Democratic Forces, or SDF, charged that Turkey attacked 3 villages in northeast Syria. Russia disagreed, saying the ceasefire is going ahead peacefully. The Turkish military did not respond to the Kurdish charge, but said on its website that 5 of its soldiers had been injured in an attack by the Kurdish YPG militia. Russian armored vehicles rumbled into another northeastern Syria town today. Russian forces deployed into the area after U.S. troops withdrew. Turkey's president agreed with Vladimir Putin to allow Russia to police the ceasefire. The deal allows Turkey to control areas it overran 2 weeks ago and gives Russian troops and the Syrian army control of the rest. Kurdish fighters have already withdrawn from the central section of the border as required by the U.S. brokered ceasefire. Representative Elijah Cummings lies in state today at the U.S. Capitol, where he served for 23 years. The flag-draped casket arrived at the Capitol this morning and was escorted into Statuary Hall of the Capitol. Family, friends, and members of Congress were on hand to pay their respects to the Maryland congressman. Fellow Democrat and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi called Cummings a master of the House who helped shape America's future.
Elijah was truly a master of the House. He respected its history, and in it, he helped shape America's future. I have called him our North Star, our guide to a better future for our children.
Cummings died last week at age 68 from complications related to long-standing health issues. Former President Jimmy Carter's out of the hospital where he was treated after fracturing his pelvis in a recent fall. The Carter Center said in a statement that the former president had been released from a hospital and was recovering at his home in Plains, Georgia. The 95-year-old Carter's the oldest living former president in U.S. history. It's the most popular cosmetic procedure in the world. We're talking about breast implants. More on the new, stronger warning for anyone with or thinking about getting implants. Your 17 Health Watch is after the break. Welcome back in your Health Watch. The FDA is proposing a new warning about the most popular cosmetic procedure in the world, breast implants. Some women are already opting to remove implants associated with a type of lymphoma. But now the FDA is proposing a warning for all implants, saying they could carry some risk of complication and that women need to know before the procedure. Meantime, doctors are being flooded with calls from patients wondering what it means for them. Here's NBC's Kristen Dahlgren.
This morning, the FDA proposing makers of breast implants add a warning to the box, telling women they could be at risk of complications like fatigue, joint pain, and even a type of cancer. Adding that the risk of these complications increase the longer they have the implants, which are not lifetime devices. The proposed warning is for all implants, silicone, saline, textured, and smooth. The public and industry will be able to comment on the recommendations before they are finalized. It comes just 3 months after the agency recalled one type of textured breast implant made by Allergan and linked to a type of lymphoma called BIA-ALCL.
This was the implant that was recalled?
Yes, this textured implant was recalled.
The textured implant was marketed to be the most natural looking, with a suede-like texture to stay in place better. About 70,000 women used to get textured implants every year, particularly breast cancer patients.
Please speak with your plastic surgeon immediately.
Stage 4 breast cancer survivor Karen Thompson broke down when she received the recall letter from Allergan.
I really don't remember much after that, but all I was thinking was, holy cow, I have this textured implant.
What she now calls a time bomb.
Did you immediately want it out?
Why would I want to play with that ticking time bomb?
To date, there are 573 known cases of the lymphoma worldwide. 481 of them involved Allergan's textured implants. In Austin, Texas, Dr. Elizabeth Potter's phone has been ringing off the hook.
Hundreds. We're probably close to 1,000 calls in the last 8 months. What do I do now? Give me some advice, doctor.
Both Allergan and the FDA say patients who have no symptoms of the cancer should not remove these or other types of breast implants, since the risk of developing BIA-ALCL is low.
How are you?
But Dr. Potter's splitting from the FDA's advice for some of her own patients.
You think women should take them out?
I think women who have a history of breast cancer or who have a history of a genetic predisposition for breast cancer should think strongly about having their textured breast implants removed.
Even though it's lymphoma that we're talking about and not breast cancer.
Right. I understand for a cosmetically placed breast implant with no symptoms why the FDA says don't remove the implant. Monitor closely. I just think that a more in-depth conversation is in order for women with breast cancer.
Bottom line, she says, whether implants are cosmetic or for reconstruction, have a conversation with your own doctor and watch out for symptoms of BIA-ALCL or other complications like swelling, redness, fluid, a mass, joint pain, or fatigue. Signs that something could be wrong. Now a big concern for millions of women.
That was Kristen Dahlgren reporting. Well, they want your blood, but they're not vampires. The folks at Houchin have a Halloween deal for anyone who wants to go to Scare Valley. If you donate blood at Houchin Community Blood Bank and mention Scare Valley, you can get a free pass this week. The haunted house is only open for the next 2 weekends at the Kern County Museum. A ticket's usually $15. Houchin has 2 locations in Bakersfield, one on Truxton Avenue, the other on Bolthouse Drive. Walk-ins are welcome, or you can schedule online at hcbb.com. A great time to go give blood. Anytime, basically. Right, Kev?
Most definitely. Want to make sure the blood bank is nice and full. Want to take you outside right now. The one thing you're going to notice here is if you look in the distance, there is a little bit of a haze. Some of that is some dust already starting to blow around the area. We are starting to see the winds pick up on the west side of the valley. Currently, we're at 76 in Bakersfield, along with Wasco and Delano, 79 out in Taft, 60s, 70s, and lower 80s up in the mountains right now. And then out in the desert, currently Mojave at 73. So start to the afternoon is pretty nice and also warm. 76 in Wasco right now. A few high clouds, but that is about it. And a great start out in Arvin with 84. So warming up there. Golden Hills, 70 degrees, and you've got the winds. Skies will remain clear around the state. That is not the issue here. The issue are the winds. And as we put this into motion, you can see very little happening. Temperatures right now running into the 80s for San Francisco, mid-70s for Fresno, and down to the south. We are already into the 90s this afternoon, and daytime highs are going to be right where they're at. We probably warm up a little bit down to Los Angeles, but overall we're seeing very hot, dry air mass down to the south, and that's why the fire danger is so extreme. The beach is also very hot today. This is the high out at Pisma Beach, 95 degrees with an east-southeast wind 10 to 15, and then Morro Bay right at 84 this afternoon, also a little on the breezy side. Here's a look at the overall pattern and what we're going to be seeing here. The Santa Ana winds are already picking up to the south. Some of the LA areas will see wind gusts right around 65 miles per hour, and this ridge is creating that offshore wind. Whenever we see an offshore wind, it's dry, drives the humidity levels down, and the fire danger risk goes up. And that's for the Kern County area as well. As you can see, we start to get relief in this by tomorrow afternoon. So we are going to continue to keep the fire danger high through probably mid-afternoon tomorrow before we see any type of relief. And that's why we have issued the red flag warning in place until 10 o'clock tomorrow evening. We have high wind warnings down to the south, so overall just not good in terms of fire weather. So blowing dust is possible in the valley because I do expect the winds to increase down to the east 10 to 15, maybe some gusts near 20. Fire danger increases throughout today with low relative humidities. We're looking at single-digit humidity by the afternoon. Winds will calm, as I mentioned, by Friday, but skies remain clear. Here's a look at the wind model, and you can see here the forecast in the winds die out a little bit as we head into tomorrow afternoon. So those winds are just going to continue to blow here for the next probably 24 hours. As we take a look at daytime highs, 87 in Bakersfield today, 88 in Wasco, 89 in Buttonwillow, so well above average. And then for the mountains, 72 in Frazier Park, 70s for the Tehachapi area, 80s into the Kern River Valley, Lake Isabel at 82, 81 in Kernville. And then for the desert, today a windy day ahead and 77 in Mojave. Your extended forecast tomorrow, 87. We will see a cool down as we round out the weekend. By Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're in the 70s. And then for the mountains, 70s through Saturday and 60s return by the end of the weekend with lower 60s back Monday, Tuesday. And the Kern River Valley forecast will keep you in the 80s through at least Saturday before you start to see a cool down. But again, big headline today are the strong winds all around California, and we really focus on our own mountains, fire danger extreme.
All right, thanks so much, Kev.
Yep.
Well, there's a lot of Halloween fun happening around town. Halloween 1 week from today, but there are several events this weekend, and we have a whole list on our website, kget.com. Just click on the hot link icon. You may be thinking Halloween right now, but it's an entirely different holiday on retailers' minds. They say you should start thinking about it, too. We'll tell you why you might face a bigger shopping crunch this year. Your 17 Business Watch is after the break.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
We're back in your Business Watch and checking stocks right now. They're mixed. The Dow is down 22 points so far in trading. The NASDAQ up about 57 and the S&P 500 up 4. And taking a look at oil prices, West Texas Intermediate selling for $56.21 a barrel this afternoon. Midway Sunset at $59.72 a barrel. You may just be getting ready for Halloween, but retailers are already in the gear for Christmas shopping season. Shoppers will start seeing the rollout of holiday sales as early as tonight. It's the earliest start ever for some major retailers. Joe Fryer reports.
If you choose to dive into the holiday spirit 2 months before Christmas, you can get a head start on your shopping. Macy's says it's ready now to deliver the best Christmas ever. And at Best Buy, you can browse gift ideas online and take advantage of holiday shipping promotions. Walmart's holiday kickoff begins tonight at midnight with promised savings on toys, cookware, and electronics. Well, Amazon has already put together holiday guides for toys and tech, calling it their biggest selection ever. And Target hosted its holiday preview event Wednesday. The company's expecting to best their record of nearly $23 billion in sales last season. But it's not just retailers that are planning ahead. Facebook found 1 in 5 U.S. consumers starts holiday shopping in October or earlier. In the last couple of years, it's become routine to see toys and Christmas decorations next to Halloween costumes. But this year marks the earliest start ever for some major retailers, which are perhaps trying to compensate for the fact this is the shortest possible holiday season. The span between Thanksgiving and Christmas, 6 days shorter than last year. Christmas tree preps are already underway in L.A.
Please don't tell me that's the Christmas tree going up.
Where temperatures are in the 90s this week.
Target's CEO says they usually see a break between the Black Friday rush and when holiday shopping ramps up again closer to Christmas. But this year, they expect things to stay busy right after Thanksgiving because shoppers have less time. Joe Fryer, NBC News, Los Angeles.
A Fresno family suing police after their 16-year-old was shot and killed. The shocking, never-before-seen surveillance video after this. Making news around the state now to never-before-seen surveillance video that shows a Fresno police officer fatally shooting a 16-year-old boy. It's led to fresh outrage in the 2-year-old case. But officials are asking the public not to rush to judgment. And a warning, the video you're about to see is disturbing. NBC's Miguel Almaguer reports.
Stop right there. Down on your knees. Down on your knees.
When Isaiah Marietta Golden was stopped by police in Fresno, California, officer body cam video shows the 16-year-old made a run for it. With multiple officers in pursuit, he jumped a fence at a nearby daycare center. One officer is seen stopping and firing a single shot that killed the teenager. An attorney for the victim's father saying the teen was struck in the back of the head.
Hands up, hands up.
The disturbing new video, just released by the family's lawyer, captures the 2017 officer-involved shooting that the police department, city, and district attorney's office said was justified. But this morning, the attorney says the video tells a very different story.
Disappointing would be a mild word, but shocking to see that he's running, he's unarmed, he's clearly just trying to get away.
The family has filed a federal civil rights lawsuit against the city and the officer, alleging excessive force, unlawful deadly force, assault and battery, and negligence. Overnight, police released a statement reading in part, "The use of lethal force in this case occurred while officers were investigating a homicide. The 16-year-old in this case was involved in the homicide with his brother, and the brother was later arrested and pled guilty." While police body camera footage does not appear to show the shooting, it did capture the crosstalk between officers in the aftermath.
He didn't pose a threat to anybody, and for him to be shot in the back as he's running is something that shouldn't be happening in this day and age.
The lawsuit identifies the officer who pulled the trigger as Sergeant Ray Villalvazo. An internal police investigation reportedly found his actions were within department policy. Following the fatal encounter, Fresno police said the officer thought the teen was reaching for a gun. But the victim's family says he was unarmed, running away, and posed no threat. Now the tale of the tape could be headed to trial.
Shots fired. One shot.
Miguel Almaguer reporting. When we come back here on 17 News at noon, a graduation gift like no other with this grad recently got from his family that might shock you. Welcome back. Finally here at noon. Some of you may have dreamed of this, becoming a billionaire overnight. Well, it happened to 24-year-old Eric C. He was gifted nearly $4 billion from his family on Tuesday. C's parents are executive directors of a Chinese investment company that sells pharmaceutical products. They gave him a fifth of the company's shares. C, who graduated from University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School of Finance, will also sit on the company's executive board, all while partying it up with celebrities like Rihanna, Bella Hadid, and former basketball player Yao Ming. This is a shot of him at a 2018 World Cup soccer match where he supported Croatia. All right, that's all for us here on 17 News at noon. We'll see you back tonight at 5 and 6.
17 News, your local news leader, continues 24 hours a day on KGET.com and our 17 News app. In the spirit of the Golden Empire, 17 News.